Alright, fellow football enthusiasts, welcome to the channel. My name is Nico, and we have finally reached the greatest time of the year. And no, I'm not talking about Christmas, the NFL playoffs. And I know you guys are excited as I am too, because this is the first time in NFL history we're going to have 6 games on Wild Card Weekend. 12 teams are playing. Only the number 1 seeds got a bye, as I'm sure you guys probably already know. Anyway, today I wanted to give my Wild Card Weekend predictions. So we got the bracket pulled up here. We're going to go through all 6 games. We're going to talk about why I think some teams are going to win. And we're going to talk about the betting line. See if I think I'd go somewhere else in terms of the line than who I go with the outright winner. So let's get right into it. We're going to go to the first game of the weekend. That's going to be down at the bottom left here. We got Colts, Bills. Okay, this is an interesting game. The Bills are really hot, but something about the Bills I just can't get behind. I understand Josh Allen's playing a great season. It's really hard to pick an upset here, though, because the Bills, they really are just a well-rounded team. And, I mean, what they did to Miami last week, it's going to be really hard for the Colts to pull something off in Orchard Park, especially with the Bills allowing fans there. So I'm going to take the Bills here. But I think this game's really close, and I wouldn't be surprised to see the Colts actually pull off an upset. So I'm going to take the Bills on a money line to actually win the game. But you see the line here is Bills -6. I would take the Colts plus 6.5 points in this game. I wouldn't be surprised if they won, so I have to take the points. So I think the Bills will win the game outright, but I think the Colts cover that 6.5 points. So then we're going to move on to the next game on Saturday. That's going to be Rams, Seahawks, the third time these teams are playing. The Rams won the first time. The Seahawks won the most recent time. Who's going to play? Jared Goff, that Wolford guy? I don't know. I don't care. I don't trust the Rams. I've bet on the Rams quite a bit this year. They've let me down often. So I'm going to go with the Seahawks here. I'll take the Seahawks -3.5 as well. I just don't see the Rams pulling through on that one. I just like the Seahawks. If the Seahawks offense can get back going to what they were in the first half of the season, I think they're going to be really dangerous. So moving on to the night game on Saturday, my hometown Tampa Bay Buccaneers playing the Washington football team, the 7-9 Washington football team. But don't think these guys are going to be a pushover. The last time I saw a 7-9 team in the playoffs was the Seattle Seahawks, and they beat the defending champions, the New Orleans Saints. I mean, we all remember Beastquake, right? Anything can happen. That being said, I'm taking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in this matchup. Now, I think Washington is going to keep this game close, and they're getting 8.5 points on the line. I like that. I would take Washington plus 8.5. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I think they're able to get after Tom Brady, make him uncomfortable. I think the Buccaneers win by probably around 4 to 6 points, but I'm going to take the Bucs even on the road. Then we're going to move to Sunday, which, in my opinion, is the more fun day. We got 2 great matchups on Sunday. So at 1 o'clock, we're going to start with what I think is the best game of the weekend, and one I'm actually really certain about my pick here. I love the Baltimore Ravens to defeat the Tennessee Titans. I think the Ravens have a legitimate shot to be that 2006 Pittsburgh Steelers team that won 4 straight going into the playoffs, and then they beat Carson Palmer, they beat Peyton Manning in Indy, they beat Jake Plummer in Denver, then they beat Seattle in the Super Bowl. I think the Ravens can actually do it. I've been really high on the Ravens all year. Even when they were 6-5, I was saying don't sell your Ravens stock. This is a good football team. I think they're going to beat the Titans. Now the line here is 3.5. I think the Ravens win by more than 3. I'm going to take the Ravens by probably 6 to 9 points in this matchup. I think they get their revenge from last season. And overall, I just think this is a fantastic game to watch. Now let's move on to the 4 o'clock game on Sunday. Probably the least intriguing game of the weekend. We got Bears-Saints. Not much really to talk about. I don't think the Bears have it in them to upset the Saints. They're going to have to pull off some crazy stuff if they're going to get it done. I'm going to go with the Saints. The line here is 10. I would take the Saints to cover that 10 points. I think they win something like 30 to 13. So that's pretty much a substantial cover there. So let's get past that really quick because everybody's picking the Saints, right? Let's go to the Sunday night game. Browns-Steelers. Okay, I was really high on the Browns a couple weeks ago. But after week 17, them playing the Steelers without Ben, without TJ Watt, basically the Steelers weren't playing for anything and they only won by 2 points. I got to go with the Steelers here in this matchup. I do think the game's going to be close. Even with the Browns' COVID issues, I still think they're a really talented football team. They're going to be able to keep it close. So I'm going to go with the Steelers to win. Now, the line here is really tough. 6 points. I think the game's going to be close, but I can see the Steelers winning by 7. It's hard to take the Steelers -6 if I only think they're going to win by 7, however. So I would take the Browns +6 if you had to bet this game, but I'd stay very far away from it on the line. So just to recap for you guys, I have the Ravens beating the Titans and covering the 3.5-point spread. I have the Steelers beating the Browns, but the Browns covering. I have the Bills beating the Colts, but I have the Colts covering the 6.5-point spread, and I really would not be shocked to see an upset there. That would be the only upset I'd be calling for, actually. The rest of these games, I'm picking the favorite, which typically does not work out on wildcard weekend. But we're going to see how it goes. If the Colts win, I'm going to be kicking myself for not picking them. I also picked the Buccaneers, but I picked Washington to cover that 8.5-point spread. I picked the Seahawks to win and cover their 3.5-point spread, and I picked the Saints to win and cover that 10-point spread. So we'll see next week how right I was, how wrong I was, and we'll be back to predict the divisional round of the playoffs. So don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and make sure you comment down below what your NFL predictions are. We can see how they differ from mine and who does better. Anyway, I'll see you guys next week.